The commitment from the actors is always astonishing to me. Just the level of heart and soul and commitment.
I'm just amazed that we actually got them and that they were so supportive of the film and its schedule and really made everything to be available, and they were just incredible to work with. And it's asking a lot because they have such full careers, but they were so supportive of me as a producer and of the story. I'm just really grateful that I got to work with two actresses I so admire.
Well, I know Charlize a little bit, and I love that she was a producer on this movie. And I think it's important, if you're going to tell a story like this, that you have a female producer at least involved in voicing the project. And so when I was asked to be her husband and be in that support role, that's really the kind of thing I want to do.
I think when you have a story with real characters, a story that's true to life, I think everyone knows that and they feel the weight of that. And I think for me as an actor, anything that can help you like bring some energy to the scene and the weight of the reality of it, I think everyone knows to use all that, and that's important.
Charlize is just commanding. She is the real story, because she traces the long process of decision between denial and commitment and resistance and fighting the good fight.
It's insane. It feels great. It's a movie that obviously means a lot to all of us, and it was hard work to get it out here. So to have any one of us be recognized just really means a lot to, I think, all of us collectively.
I mean, I just think emotionally, but also with such sort of bold precision is how I would describe it. I mean, the Megyn Kelly performance that Charlize was able to tackle is extraordinary, and then the emotional precision of Margot's performance is what's just mind-blowingly good. So
Margot's performance is incredibly courageous, bold, and original. She's a young woman, very ambitious, very clever. She knows how strategically to talk her way into Roger's office. Little does she know she's sort of sneaked into a snake's nest.
Honestly, the gift was even getting to be a part of this film. I was so grateful that they reached out, and so grateful to read this script and read this character and to see what this character could do and the experience audience members could have taking that little walk with all of these characters really for a couple hours. I think it's important, and I really wanted to be a part of it.
But we had a great rapport off camera, even though we have that one scene in the elevator, Margot, Charlize and I, which I was like, Jay, you got to give us something where we're all in a scene together.
Margot's vulnerability in those scenes with Roger where she's being harassed, I'm surprised we got that so beautifully. You know, Nicole has this wonderful quirky quality that is consistent throughout, that communicated character without being too much, which was great. And Charlize just has this fierceness throughout that is just fantastic. So, you know, all those three qualities I think were the things that I cared most about, yeah.
They're always in the scene together. The cameras are always filming, no one's ever off camera, and they just, what they did for each other was remarkable. These women, especially for each other, and pretty incredible. Actually, John Lithgow was no slouch either at becoming their crisis, their problem.
Well, they're all great. My only regret is that I only got one scene with Nicole, but it's a good scene.
I mean, I feel like the conversation's already started. I hope this film will continue it and maybe break through some of those nuances of the gray that this issue, I think, lives in.
I think it's continuing the conversation, yeah, and I think that's how we know people aren't going to be silenced because it's not going to go away, and we're only going to keep delving in deeper. And I think more stories, sadly, are going to be coming out.
It illuminates one of the great issues of our time for men and women. And it's not a matter of implicating men or making them feel ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, we're having larger cultural conversations about like power dynamics in the workplace, especially in workplaces that involve media, and like the opportunities people have to abuse that power. And this is a film that talks to those things. And it's about something that I personally didn't know a great deal about before we started shooting. So hopefully it teaches people about it.
Maybe just a little bit of realization of kind of the inside story as opposed to what you maybe hear in the headlines. The inside story and what some of these, what these women really went through and dealt with.
As a father of 2 little girls, I think it's important for me, and hopefully my kids don't have to go through any of the scenarios that these women had to go through. I think the time is afoot. The Me Too moment is now. Also, as the son of a really strong-willed mother and an older sister, like the thought of what happened in that world isn't even a reality to me. So I think it's important to tell the world what happened there. I feel like there's so much information being hidden today that this story needed to get out, and that these women are super courageous.
I wrote it just about a year before the Harvey Weinstein thing. We were all just so pissed off, the whole country was just angry about what was going on, and it felt like no one was doing anything about it. So yeah, it's simply that.
I think they can expect to be surprised by what they might have, thought they were going to see, especially from the women involved, with what they really see. I think these actors brought so many layers, so much understanding to what the situation was, and it's an interesting predicament that these women faced a year before the Harvey Weinstein thing, to especially with Gretchen Carlson, to sort of jump off and take one of the most powerful men on, and with other women's help successfully bring him down. Pretty amazing.
For one thing, it shows sexual harassment in the most vivid relief that you've ever seen it.
You know what I've loved most about people seeing it for the first time now is actually hearing what they thought afterwards. I like sort of letting people go in a bit blind and then asking them questions after, so I'm excited about that.
It's a terrifically entertaining film. It just simply builds, its suspense builds, it's shot through with ironic humor, it's got marvelous performances.
Because the story's good, and the acting's good, and it's fun, and it's entertaining, and it's of its time.
Yeah, this is a story that's for everyone, and I think that a lot of people are questioning what is the role of the white male in moving society forward, and I think that there are a lot of white males that don't do it right in this movie, but there are some that do some interesting things. And
well, it's a story that we've definitely heard about in the news extensively, and I think it was a very interesting take. Charles wrote a great script, and Jay is just a wonderful director. And it's really told from certain women in the circle's perspective, and I think it's going to be an interesting take.
I think with any story, it's like a book. It's like you can read the little tidbits or the back cover, but like once you dive into a book, it has a bigger impact, and that's why movies are important, stories are important, books are important, poetry is important, and I think people will walk away affected by this movie.
Most importantly, like, the movie has something political to say, but it's also a great ride, and it's a great story too.